Bro, we've had a lot of music artists on here, but the first time that we have had a guest from the States, from America, man, like live in person here in the UK.
No, bro, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me, brother. Trap still kicking like Luke Kane. Went from f***ing up pounds to move weight to f***ing up pounds in UK. Used to love robbing like that, man. Now the car in the house like Bruce Wayne. Try to hold it down, but you can't. No, you ain't bout what you say. Nah, cash rules everything around me. Money hold it down like Wu-Tang. It's been quite a journey, bro. And yeah, I appreciate it, man.
What does it take, man? Like, how do you go from performing at your local club in Colorado to actually getting a call up for someone to say...
To get to this point, man?
Manchester.
Oh, God. It's oh, my God. It's been quite a journey. So back home in the States, in my little city where I'm from, if you're familiar, the Colorado people gonna know, but they got a small little bar. I don't even know if they still go by it, but Royal Castle. That's the name of the little bar, a little small hole in the wall that I came from. You know what I mean? So what does it take to go from like a Royal Castle to a Manchester Carnival Caribbean Festival? Consistency, man. I promise you, we fell 100 times before we got our first. And it wasn't even a breakthrough. It just took 100 L's before we got like relatively, this is beneficial to us. And you gotta. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. I learned a lot from y'all gonna see SwizZy. I learned a lot from him. The way his it's the work ethic, consistency. It's more of a it's not a destination. It's a journey, and then on that journey, you gotta make sure you're not missing any beats and you're just staying locked in and on point. That's kind of like name of the game with any of this. You know what I'm saying?
That's the key, man. Everyone who's been on here, I'd like to say every guest we've had on is been quite good, quite successful. And they all say the same thing. So it's about getting up every day and doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's really like the bottom line. There's really no magic to it. Like, if you're curious, like, what does it take to get to this? Like, little tips, hints, and tricks. Sometimes it's not about what you know. For this specific situation, it's about who we know. And then after you could even know who, right? But then when it comes to this music business, 9 times out of 10, there's going to be some type of paywall or some type of form of something in your way between you and the opportunity. You know, and the reason why it's set up like that is because 99% of the people that want to go do these shit aren't going to pay the bread to do it. So therefore, they're just going to not have access to the opportunity. And like what they say, what makes the difference between the boys and the men? Spending that bag is gonna put you in that position, that's gonna be the difference maker, right?
You gotta take a risk.
Yeah,
100%. You gotta take that risk, man.
100%, Lazo.
And now we're here. So listen, my people, welcome back to the podcast. I'll let him introduce himself.
Yeah, okay. So my name is Marvylus. I go by Marvylus, Marvylus on all social media. Go ahead and Google it. And Big L's, Loud Life in the building.
All the links will be on anyway. You'll find them in the description. And we got the other half of this group here today as well. You see that on another podcast.
There's actually 3 of us. We had the third one. He's busy handling. He's being Big Daddy. Shout out Noop, bro. You know you're gonna watch this and be mad as your ass didn't come to the Manchester run. But yeah, there's 3 of us.
Why didn't he come?
Oh man, he had this shit planned, bro. He even spent mad money on it, bro. My man's he's at a point in his life where some shit came up and he really had to kind of step up and be a father to his child. And this is kind of what's going on.
I mean, that's a better reason than anything, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's respectable. Yeah, there's going to be a reason why you ain't here. It better be some shit like that. Yeah.
So how did you actually form this group? Like the 3 of you?
Okay. The group itself, I didn't physically form it. I'm a part of the group. You feel me? I what's the word I want to use? I contribute. I'm like an irreplaceable edifice of the group, but I'm not necessarily like the creator. That's SwizZy. Y'all get to know SwizZy in a minute. I mean, legend has it he was smoking a one day, talking, and him and the other member, one of the other founding members, were just talking shit. And it just came up with, bro, let's call it LoUdLifeCrew. And LOUD is supposed to represent living out your dreams. But yeah, so that's what that's the lore behind LoUdLifeCrew. This shit just started officially, I guess, on like through a Twitter back and forth conversation. This shit just took life of its own. And here we are, like what, 2012, 13 years later, if you want to get technical. Yeah, so yeah. But where my story with Loud Life begins is I'm from Colorado, been freestyling, been trying to get on my music journey type situation. When I graduated high school, then I went to trade school to try to figure out how to get a job or whatever, and I came back to Colorado and shit. That's when I was 19, and I wanted, at this point I was like, okay, I got a phone, I got a car, I got a job, like I have the palette of the bare minimals. I was like, but I'm not trying to just live my life to just have these, like, I want more. And that's when I was like, dude, I always love doing music. You know what I'm saying? A lot of pain and a lot of traumas in my life. I just go to music to relate to it. So that's kind of like where it got with me. And so I used to it started off in the at the homie's crib in the closet, you know what I'm saying, with the microphone on the little laptop. Real unofficial, real unprofessional. And then from there, found my first studio that was charging $20 an hour, Macado or whatever. Went over to him. After that, can you find out the other studios that end up costing more? But by the time I had got to Macado and got like a couple more songs under my belt, I was already kind of in the local scene. I probably had a couple shows under my belt. And yeah, that's kind of when I met SwizZy. In fact, me and SwizZy didn't even link when it initially went down. It was actually, this LoUdLifeCrew used to be like 10 people deep for no reason, bro. There's like buku people that used to be a part of it. And so when I actually joined the group, I got approached by someone who's super no longer part of it at all, but he approached me. Like him and SwizZy, but initially I didn't know SwizZy like that. So it was bro who approached me. I'm looking at the shit like, okay, I don't know who the these guys are, but they are doing shows. And I would love, you know, I'm coming from that fan perspective. I'm like, oh, dude, I would love to do shows and shit. So it kind of started off like that. I was like, you know what? Let's see what these guys talking about. At that point, and I forgot how I got to the point where they fell out, but SwizZy moved to my hood in Colorado. He like moved right up right there on the block. When I was kind of like, I was in my little rough patch, you know what I'm saying? I was jobless as sleeping on my sister's couch, using unemployment money to pay for music videos. And during that time frame, that's when me and SwizZy ended up linking. And that's when me and him got real locked in. And around that same time frame is when a lot of the fat kind of cut itself off, naturally falling out with SwizZy. So it went from like 5 motherfuckers to like boom, boom, boom. Now it's just 3 of us standing. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's kind of like how the Loud Life started. This would have been 2017 is when I got with the group structure and just been rocking it ever since, man. Yeah. Took this shit across the world a couple times.
One question, I wanna hone in on the idea of getting there and trying to be successful. Like, and obviously no shade to the members that are no longer here, but how does it become like that? How do you differentiate between the members that stay and those that don't?
Well, it's funny you say that. I mean, like my birds of a feather flock together, and like minds attract. So if you're going on that train of thought, it's just pretty much like, see, when it comes to this right here, there's no excuses. And like your conviction is gonna be really like that. It's gonna dictate how far you go with it. So like you can unite, and that's where the paywall comes in. How do you know a motherfucker serious? Oh, charge them $4,000, and if they pay that for it, because it's not little money, it's serious money. Oh, they're paying that $4,000. Oh, they're taking their shit serious. So like I say that to say a lot of these guys that were a part of the group and whether it been a financial situation that they fell out. I think one of them fell out because one of them felt like financially wasn't serving them. One of them, it was mostly all financial. If I'm not lying, a lot of the guys fell out. It was like a financial thing. So I say that to say that's kind of like the difference. That's like the people that fall off. You're usually showing signs of just lack of conviction and shit like that, and just that's pretty much what I can say.
Listen, it's life. People go their different ways, and it is what it is at the end of the day. But I will say one thing though. So let's go back to the initial inspirations, man, because me and you are both 90s babies, 90s babies. And we like the same rappers. But the most interesting thing I gotta say about this is is that you have this new era style of rap.
Yeah.
So a lot of what you do isn't the people that inspired you. Now they inspired you, but you don't quite sound like them, which is good.
That is true.
It's good for things to go forward, right? Tupac sounds different to Wayne, and Wayne sounds different to you, and then that's the whole point of it, man. But where do you find?
So I'm glad you even brought it up, because like one of my bigger inspirations outside that, he said he sucked his shit. You almost canceled your ass, Kanye. You're gonna have to speak on that. Hopefully you retracted your statements, Kanye, or whatever you said, bro. But you're talking about something, fam. You're gonna ruin moments like this at the podcast, fam. Where I'm about to say you're one of my biggest inspirations.
Was this the same cousin that took his laptop that he was on?
Yeah. Lord knows who was the older one. That's neither here nor there. The reason why I with my man so bad though is like his production. He really was a pioneer of the sounds and just always ahead of the curve, you know, with his sounds. And so I make my own beats. Like anything you hear me on, depending on like, you know, if I'm making group songs, I might outsource the beat. But like like when I'm getting on my music and I'm getting ready to create, I'm making all my beats. I'm in the studio on FL Studio cooking, putting all the little drums and kicks and hi-hats and building it all the way together. And so as far as inspiration, I think that reason why I like doing that is because I always thought it was corny as whenever like you go to listen to somebody's song and it's like, oh wait, I heard that beat on YouTube, and then you find out 5 other got a song on that beat, and it's just like the originality is all gone, you know. So at least if I make my own beat, you gotta like come bite me and jack from me and steal from my.
Do you find it? So again, we've had. I don't make music, but I've had a lot of music artists on here.
Yeah.
Do you find that the music, your lyrics can come easier to you because as you're making the beat, you're thinking of the melodies?
And so I'm glad you said that. So as I make my beats, there's a couple different ways you can go about recording. You can come in premeditated, you write it all down, you've been sitting there practicing and you got it structured, you're focused. Or you can go in there and they call it punching in. Punching in is just where you don't give a fuck about shit. Think about the next bar. Of course I'm gonna fuck on your and you just keep punching in the song all the way through. So like I noticed when you're punching in, or you know, one of my big things is when I'm making music is the way it feels and the way it feels, and that feeling when you're making music, I call it like capturing lightning in a bottle. If you come in premeditated, you'll be a little too robotic, and it doesn't got like emotion and life in the. And sometimes that's a good. Sometimes you want a song that sounds like that. But I notice like when you're creating everything right then and there, and it's spontaneously happening. Like I'm making the beat now. Now I'm about to punch in. This is how I feel right now. That capturing that nowness right then and there is like I feel like I'm having better. I like the way the music sounds. I like the product that I'm getting. I just feel like it captures the nowness a lot better. And yeah.
The emotions of what you're going through in that life. I've always noticed as well with my favorite rappers is that if you listen to their albums from album 1 to album 5, for example, whether it's a J. Cole or a Kanye, you actually could write like a biography of their life because they talk about what's going on at that point, right? So we all remember Cole before he really blew up.
Of course.
And then we know Cole now that kind of like has to be forced by his friends to put out music because he's too much of a perfectionist because life is different and he wants to cycle around New York.
Talking about J. Cole.
J. Cole, yeah. Instead of like, you know, J. Cole used to love to go into the club like a lot of young people. And what I'm trying to say is that the art of rap is an art of form expression. The art of rap is an art of the expression of self.
You know,
100%. Yeah. And it's good to be yourself because when people listen to Marvylus, it's like they got to know it's you.
Yeah.
The rap comes from life. Is that what you're trying to say?
The rap comes from life?
Yeah, like your life, how you live.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Oh, you mean like, well, there's some fake niggas out here too. Straight up. So it's like, does my raps come from my life? Yeah, but I can't. There's a lot of motherfuckers out here capping.
Yo, I'll be real with you though. A lot of fake people have made it in the industry.
Yeah, that's like the name of the game, low-key. That's the name of the game.
There's a lot of fake
rappers. Fake it till you make it. Yeah, you walk like a duck and talk like a duck. Eventually, you'll be a duck.
I mean, you could sell yourself lies if you repeat it enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fake fuckers. Me, that's a, you know, like I said, it's not a destination and it's more of the journey. So as an artist, you want to make sure you're not going. You want to go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't want to go from 1 to 10. You're gonna skip some beats and you're gonna miss some shit. So like I say that to say, if you just come out the gate on some grown man shit, and then you take a step back to get on some childish shit, it's gonna look cringe. So as you mature and develop as a man, you want to be making your music along with that, so you don't got to double back. Music is a young man's sport, debatably, arguably. I mean, yes, you can make music after 35 plus, and you can still do an art form, but what you're ignoring is your competition and all the young niggas that are eating that are like half your age, putting out double the bodies of work. So just being real with yourself, because I don't like to limit the human. Human has an infinite amount of potential in the man, you know what I'm saying? So to just sit there and look at a motherfucker be like, oh, you're not going to be able to do something one day. That's just false. Anybody can do anything. Statistically and number speaking wise, though, it's not most likely not going to happen unless, I mean, you can do it. It's just statistically shown that that's not an average, sequence. So with that being said, yeah, hope you're able to get that. Yeah.
No, I got it just fine, but I got to push back, man. I got to push back because sometimes you start late. If you're Jay-Z,
being a late bloomer is the worst. It's the worst. And I'm glad you brought up Jay-Z. Listen. Yeah. No, I'm glad you brought up Jay-Z.
Jay, first album, 26, 27, the best album in my opinion.
Blueprint, right?
Right, Reasonable Doubt. 28. By the way, if you guys are hearing background noise, SwizZy B.
y'all meet SwizZy in a minute, man.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, even this idea of like, because I've even heard Drake say it. I've heard everybody say it. Everyone, like, you know, when there's beefs, they like to say like, oh, you're too old for rap. Like Game was saying to Jay-Z, you're too old for this. Yeah. Like, I mean, allegedly, apparently he said it to oh, I forgot his name, the guy who hangs out with Irv Gotti. No, the other guy who hangs out with Irv all the time. They're always together.
With who?
Do you know the song with Ashanti? What's love?
Oh, Ja Rule, that mother.
So he came out on radio and he said, no, I was dissing Ja Rule, I wasn't dissing Jay-Z because Jay-Z's a legend. But we all know they were going for the age. Yeah. And then we saw Jay and Kanye well over 35 coming out with Watch the Throne.
Well, that's why I like Ye, is because there's certain anomaly artists that kind of redefine that standard. But you got to be an anomaly level artist. Like if you're not in-house touching all your shit like that, I mean, your days are going to be a number. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit. This is the sad truth.
Well, if you remember some of Kanye's lyrics, I'm a huge fan. I remember there's a lyric who goes, lock yourself in your bedroom, making 5 beats a day for 5 summers. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, that's the work ethic you're dealing with. Like if you're not operating on that level, how are you going to compete with someone like that?
Yeah.
And that's why I like to have those people as like standard setters, because it just kind of reminds me how much more harder I got to work and how much more work needs to be done for me.
Listen, one thing that no one ever tells you as you're growing up is that it never gets easier.
Yeah, it doesn't get easier. You just get stronger. That's just the idea. This shit don't get easier though.
No, because like the expectations are different as well. Like, because you guys just performed at Carnival.
Yeah.
For those wondering, I don't know when the podcast is going to come out, right? But it's the 10th of August.
Mm-hmm.
You guys performed on the 9th.
Yeah, we're going to pull up today. If you guys see this podcast way later and you've seen us at Carnival, just know that's what's going on.
But like, are you performing today as well?
Possibly. Never say never. We don't have any pre-planned like established, but showing up's half the battle. If I pull up to Carnival and I get to talking to those people behind them stages, bro, ain't impossible. We do it all the time. Like we'll pull up, no plans to perform. Next thing you know, I'm throwing the DJ $100 and I'm on stage. You know what I'm saying? So it's just how you have to grind, bro. It's how if you really want that shit, for real.
I like that. But that's why I said it, man. Like you gotta show up.
Yeah.
Because there's a thing that we always say, like there's 2 ways to put it. The luckier you work, the harder you work, the luckier you become.
Or never heard that one.
Luck favors the prepared. So if you're prepared to turn up, you might be able to throw that DJ $100, and you can't quantify how many fans you might get that night.
And that's the whole. Me and SwizZy go back and forth with it all the time, because I'm like, well, bro, it's a mystery, but you're really shooting in the dark. but it's like he just doesn't like, because my big deal, we do so many fucking shows, we're on stage so much, and it gets to a point where it's like, all right, bro, like how many of these shows or whatever, you know, where if we're headlining, cool. But if we're not headlining, how many of these shots in the dark is actually benefiting and growing our fan base on the level that we want it to? So me and him get into it all the time because we're a group. We have to figure out where the hive mind is, where the group mentality is trying to lock and hone in. So yeah, me and him get into it a lot. And it's a method.
Me and, you know, the friends of mine who are involved in the podcast, we were talking about this. We were like, we got to make time for this. Not every day someone from the States.
I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, no, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe in 5 years they'll still be normal and we'll be flying out to the States to record. But like at the beginning, you really just gotta strive.
No, you gotta kind of thank you for giving me a shot. That's how you, because it's gonna go beautiful, bro. We're gonna keep running this shit up as I grow and my shit and your presence grow. We will grow with each other. The content will keep recycling itself.
These days when I look at my analytics, and this is how you know you're making progress, I'm seeing videos from years ago get views, and then you're like, this never used to happen. Because you know when you're beginning and you're grinding, you get views on the new stuff you put out, and then things start gathering dust on the shelf, so to speak. And all of a sudden you're about 2 years in and you're like, oh, someone, because you can see the analytics, oh, someone just listened to my podcast from a year ago and I can see how many minutes. That's sick. But the best question I got to ask you, man, is there's a big difference between American and UK music, but you tell me as an artist what the difference is.
Well, all rap originated in US, so like, with all respect, UK is just in the shadow of the US. Like they're just an echo. They're not gonna be able to take it to somewhere. We set the standard, so we did it first. There can only go to where we took it. Now I can say where UK snapped and like kind of got their own identity when they got on their little UK drill, because then New York took the production of the way UK structures their beats, did their thing in New York, because you know New York and England kind of got that tethered relationship. You guys are, you know what I'm saying? So I say that to say the difference, you guys over here haven't heard too much melodic singy shit. You guys, I've been hearing a lot more, and I appreciate it actually, but it's a lot more rap and lyric. You guys obviously like that part of the American hip hop, and so that's why when I come over here to listen to y'all, I'm hearing the bars and I'm hearing the flows. You know, it's not really too much of a melody type shit. It's more like use your English words and flow and talent. I like it. I can respect it.
I would definitely say that with English rappers generally, they can be a bit more aggressive on the beat. Whereas I can see a really hardcore rapper from America, but he might still sing on his hook. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, whereas kind of like in the UK.
I mean, respectfully, it kind of just feels like UK's like the little brother who wants respect. Like, oh, take me serious. Like, and that's kind of how it sounds when it goes hard off with this, but it is kind of like we have to be on some hard body. They got to take us serious. And that's like why y'all aren't singing and doing all that extra shit. That's how I feel about it. It's like a bitterness, you know what I mean? Yeah, I got a chip on the shoulder. Y'all are the little brother that's like, got to prove yourself. At least now, I mean, y'all give it a couple more years. Y'all already have proved yourselves. Y'all can go start working on the other parts of this shit. But yeah, right now it's coming off as like the little brother.
Listen, we just recently had a beef with Skepta and somebody else.
Joyner Lucas.
Yeah, so you know you're fueling that.
Loads of mucus.
I think, look, man, look. Let's put it seriously, right? Sometimes the youngest brother can be the most successful person in the family, right?
Yeah.
But let's go back on the original. What I would say is that it was obviously more difficult for the UK to get going because there's always that shadow of this didn't originate here.
Oh, 1,000%.
There's many examples, right? Even in sports, like the biggest sport in the world is actually the actual football that you kick with your foot, not the one you throw, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And then every once in a while, like, you know, you get a Messi in America. So it's kind of like that. The originators always dominate. But I prefer the collaboration. But what I'm seeing, and this is disappointing, I'm seeing more mainstream American and US collaborations rather than the art forms themselves. So like what happens is they only collaborate once they kind of start popping. Yeah. So some of our rappers will come over, your rappers will come over. But to get the essence of what that music is, you can't wait until your production, like someone in your label or group says, this guy's popping, let's get him in a song. You got to get that guy somewhere in London or Manchester to make music with.
Yeah.
You know, so you've probably met a few artists recently at Carnival, man. And
I met a couple of y'all. I'm definitely trying to work.
You got to be sending. I think you got to be sending.
I mean, just like how me and you are working, and you see how I kind of found you, and we're at the level we're at. Same with the UK artists. When I'm making music in America, I'm not really trying to work with nobody who's not established in America. But it's easier to mess with something that's not established when it's out of the States, because it's the worst case scenario is you still grow. So that's just so easy to get on board with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And at the end of the day, a lot of rappers, sometimes you find that even like let's say when they retire, right? So I remember like the example that comes to mind is Tiger. If you guys remember Tiger, he kind of went missing from, Young Money and all of that. But he was still really popping in places like Asia.
Oh, yeah.
So he was able to eat off his music.
Yeah. Those are goals. Yeah.
Right. And it just, and you don't know how those doors are going to open, man.
Yeah, that's the, yeah, you can be washed up in America and go on a world tour and hit all your you can hit all those other countries, and you really got to go back to the States. Well, you can do it. You do. Eventually, you have to tap back in with the U.S. We're the gatekeepers. So you can go as far as you want, but you're eventually gonna have to spin back on us. Get our blessings. It is what it is. It is what it is.
But what I would say though is that if a rapper is in a period of their life where maybe they just want to make some money and tour, that type of international fan base really can.
Yeah, but so with SwizZy's method, all right, you have the internet, which is a tool. And then you have physically, hello, my name is Marvin. I'm going to meet you, shake your hand, right? And now, so this physical connection and me meeting you, you're more inclined to, when you see my post on Instagram, oh, bro, I shook that man. I had a whole combo with him. We kicked it in smoke. I'm going to support him. I know him. Yeah. And so you got quality and quantity. So when you're dealing with these shows and interacting with people, you're starting to farm quality follower. Versus like the internet, they can't really see. I mean, they can learn about you through like the media and the interview, but they're still bigger than life. You're still a screen in between them, So like when it comes to farming fans or whatever, the quality fans, you're going to catch those. You're going to just real life interaction. Oh, I met you at whatever. You're going to be able to your fan wants to not feel like a fan. They want to feel like, oh, that's the homie. I'm a friend. This is somebody I know. And so the only way you can give them that feeling is if you interact with them and see them in person and don't treat them like that. Yeah, they're more inclined to give you that support.
And the only time you have time to do that is at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it's going to get to a point where just so we don't hold up the show, we got to bring you in with security. Yeah. Because you're going to get rushed by all these fans. And so you got to do it at the beginning.
Still waiting for that day. We're still good to jump in the crowd right now. It's been some close calls though, where I'm like, all right, we might need to switch up how we're getting on stage. But right now we're still good to jump in there. Ain't too much. I could tell we're going to grow, and it's going to be a point where I can't just allow myself, because I'm quick to jump in that crowd and go mosh pit.
Someone explain that to me. How does that actually work? How do you just jump? And how did the hands catch?
You got to set it up. So we have a little method behind it, but you do this, you do that, they do it. You tell them put your hands up. You got to kind of set it up hey, well, see, that's the thing. I've done them where I didn't set it up and I didn't prepare it, and they, it failed. But what I'm trying to say is, how do you set up a crowd surf, bro? Hands. Rappers, number one. First things first, the song got to go crazy. Where are you crowd surfing to some soft? You know what I'm saying? You got to crowd surf to some lit. Two, when you're on stage and you're trying to set that up, you got to be self-aware. That's one thing that I'm still working. It's a forever growing muscle and skill. It's but what I'm trying to say is what you want to do is be aware. That's one thing I try to teach my when we're on stage. Because we'll go up there, we got 99, we're trying to focus on the lyrics. I'm trying to focus on the fans over here. I'm trying to make sure the mic and the soundboard and all that on point. It's going to slip my mind. We have a checklist of that we feel like we must do. When we're going to a show, I need to see the lights up. I need to try to crowd serve. We want to take a photo with the crowd so that, you know what I'm saying? And this is a basic checklist type shit. So yeah, we have a blueprint that's been developed over years and years and years of going trial and error and doing these shows. So when I say the crowd surf, little crack, like I said, it's hands up, let them know, hey, I'm about to crowd surf, or put your hands up, I'm about to crowd surf. With the younger crowd, you ain't really got to tell them much. They're just with the shit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they'll make you crowd surf and you don't even want to crowd surf. You just jump in the crowd to just get with them. They'll lift you up. But
is there something? Did DJ Khaled crowd surf once?
DJ Khaled,
I think he tried it once. I think one time he tried.
Yeah, I fuck with DJ Khaled. Shit, I'm sure that. Hey, I think
he's good at bringing new people on. You know, he's there's a track record that Khaled has with sending beats to upcoming artists and.
Oh yeah, he curates, and I understand where he's important in the game. He curates and picks shit. He doesn't actually make the shit, but he makes the shit. He's like
the plug.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He's like, he might have not made the chicken and made the rice, but he's the one who took the chicken with the rice and thought to put gravy on them shits. You know what I'm saying?
And more importantly, brought everyone to the table.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Metaphorically, you feel me? So that's why, you feel me? I fuck with that too. I'm going to get, and see, when it comes to this music, it's a young man's sport. I'm sure it'll eventually get to a point in my life, in my career, where I can take a step back on trying to be the main character and I can kind of help support.
I got 2 more things before our time is over today.
Yeah.
Number 1, bro.
Yeah.
You got to give me your 5 best rappers.
5 best rappers. Ooh, I'll give you that. I got you.
That's subjective as well.
It is. All right, I got you. 5. Top 5. Well, before I answer, we going off of pure skill or like my personal, it's like, for example, I can give you who I think is talent. People may not like them, but I'm saying like talent and skill, I know that shit's hard to do. I can give you those, or I can give you my top 5, like who I personally am influenced by. Like if I were to go to heaven and pick 5 of to be on my song, you know what I'm saying? I can give you that list.
You gotta do that choosing for me. I can't decide that for you.
Okay, I got you. So top 5 influences.
Just to let you know, by the way, this is a safe space for Kanye fans. You ain't gotta worry. This is a safe space for Kanye fans, all right?
2024 Kanye. Not 2025 Kanye, no. But anyways, real talk though. Lil Wayne off tops, like goated. Tupac, I'm gonna throw Tupac in there. I grew up, my mama loved her some Tupac, rest in peace, mama. So I definitely grew up on some Tupac. We're doing Dead or Alive right now. And these are influences. I don't think all these guys just have the best skill. They're just influence. But I have to throw. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put Eminem in there. He's undeniable. You can't deny that guy. So Wayne, Pac, M. Ooh, I'll throw Ye in there. Just kind of love his originality and the production. And number 5, rappers. Because my 5th is always reserved for like a Bob Marley or a Michael Jackson.
Listen, those are 2 of the best influences in music. Yeah. So if that's got to be your 5, then make that your 5.
But no, we're keeping it rap. So if my 5th is just strictly rap, who's my 5th? Oh, XXXTentacion, rest in peace, easy. There you go. That's my Wayne, Pac, Eminem, Kanye, XXXTentacion, top 5. Really need a top 10, but I'll give them that.
All right, guys, listen, you heard it here, and you can hear Marvylous music, and we'll put in it all in the description. Thank you so much for making time to come see us, man, all the way from the States.
You, Lazo. Thank you, my brother. It's been a pleasure. Before I go, how long you been doing this, bro? I'm about to interview your shit.
Yeah, we can keep it going. That's the thing about podcasting, is spontaneous, and keep going. So I would say I've been making podcasts for about 3 years, but full-time, a year and a half. Year and a half. What's your goal with it? Like, are you kind of just picking whoever's trying to sit down and link with you? Do you have we're very, respectfully, we're very selective. So the people that I've had on my podcast, I can actually say I'm a fan of what they do, whether it's the music artists that we've had, because you're, I think, the 4th rapper on the podcast. SwizZy's going to be the 5th, right? Yeah. We respect and appreciate people on here, but I don't know how much you know, but man, we have some super educated people, life-changing people. I had a guest, I always go back to her, called Taban Shora. She has an NGO, you know, those that global charities. And they've officially changed the lives of 100,000 people.
Officially.
Yeah, like these on their stands. Like, you know, I had Charisma on here, who is an architect like because I'm an architect, right?
Okay.
So that's what I studied, and I have a degree in masters in architecture.
Okay.
I remember finding Charisma on Instagram, and she's the architect at Louis Vuitton. So when you guys go to all your fancy Louis V stores in places like Paris, or
you're saying the structural building, the way it's designed.
Yeah. And even before she worked for Louis Vuitton, Charisma was a part of the team that did that Apple Park in California, man. So we have had some amazing guests, man. Dr. Bamo Nouri is my next guest. That's it'll be out by the time this comes out, man. Senior lecturers. We've had businessmen on here.
What's their end goal? You're trying to keep history recorded? You're just keeping a little.
I'll tell you something. The end goal is for me to get paid and live off this thing that I would do for free.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the same as you.
Okay, so we got the same angle, baby. Yeah. Oh, we about to make a means to an end, baby.
Yeah, like that's like a no-brainer. Like, hey, would you like to get paid thousands to do this? Hell yeah.
Yeah, and slowly, brick by brick, I promise you, man. Kurt Cobain, he did Drink in My Cup. When I went on tour with him, one of the pieces of advice he stuck with me is he told me, you don't go from 0 to 100 because if they knock your ass down, you'll go from 100 back to 0. But if you build it brick by brick, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you go 99, 100, they try to knock you, you're gonna knock and fall back on 99. You're gonna be right there. So you kind of want to set yourself up for security in that type of way.
Well, two things. Number one, Pitbull says this a lot: short steps, long vision.
Short steps, long vision.
And he's, he always says it in Spanish as well, but I don't know the Spanish. But like short steps, long vision, which makes a lot of sense. But number two, man, we see this in music all the time. There are more music artists that come and go within a space of 3-4 years than those that stay for 20.
Yeah, I know, bro. A 5-year lifespan is actually a good run, believe it or not, even though it's so short, No,
100%. I think that's something to be proud of. If you're 40, you're sat at home and you're no longer making music, but millions of people are listening to you for 5 years, that's still very successful. But what I'm saying is that passionate, creative people like ourselves, if we're sat down at 35 or 30 and we're not doing this anymore, you're probably like, that energy within me needs to go somewhere, and a regular job in a business, no matter how rich I am, isn't gonna.
Oh, fuck no. Yeah. Absolutely. No, hell no, bro. Stay in school, kids. Ain't nothing wrong with working a job, make your money, do whatever you gotta do. But you definitely want to boss up and figure your shit out and get out and get free.
Whatever it is that you want to do, because at the end of the day, man, like, we are here not to survive, but to thrive. Too many people have laid bricks for us to be comfortable and travel around the world and do shows and make rap what it is today. Yeah. And you owe it to yourself and those people to put your best foot forward.
1,000%, bro. They walk so I can run, and I'm gonna run so the guy behind me about to fly. You feel me? Yeah. But Lazo, I'm about to, you feel me? I'm gonna let you continue. I'm gonna use the restroom. We're gonna tap it in. We're gonna tap in. Marvylus, MARVYLUS.com. You feel me? Shout out the gang, LoUdLifeCrew, Noopy. You should have been here. And yeah, y'all see this podcast? It's history in the making, baby. Yeah. I
love that, man. Take care. Like, share, subscribe, all the usual, and we will see you out on the next one.
Like, comment, subscribe, baby. Yeah. That was beautiful. I'm glad. Yeah, we did a nice.